Every baby counts. Learn about saving babies together. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Marion County Medical Center. We're focused on this Saturday's March of Dimes, Marion County Walk America, and we're visiting with Beth Hucks, the mother of Madeline, the 2003 Marion Ambassador baby. Good morning, Beth.
Morning.
Thanks so much for being with us. And to think, in 72 hours, this place will be teeming with folks all kicking off following you and Madeline and Michael heading out. It'll be a big, big day.
Oh, yes.
Thanks so much for committing so
You're
much.
welcome.
Are you and your husband, Michael, both from the area?
We are. We've born and raised in Mullins.
Here in Marion County.
Mm-hmm.
And for viewers who may not be throughout the PD or southeastern North Carolina who may not be familiar, Mullins is, what are some of the major towns in Marion? Would be Mullins.
In Marion.
Marion. Is Nichols in Marion County?
It is.
Right. Well, it's an amazing county, and one that Fox 43 has a big tie-in with. Where did you attend school and what did you major?
I graduated from Marion County School of Practical Nursing in 1997 and continued on with my RN degree, and I graduated from Florence Darlington in 2000.
Great.
Too.
Okay, so just a year and a half ago.
In May of last year.
What do you think prompted your interest in a medical career?
I began with Marion Memorial when I was 13 as a candy striper, and I continued volunteering until I was of age to work and get paid for it. Then I continued my nursing career.
Mm-hmm. And you said immediately following graduation, you said in 97 before even the stint at Florence Darlington. Where did you work immediately following graduation?
I've always been affiliated with the Marion County Hospital District, as I started as a nurse aide and went on while I was in nursing school. I worked as a nurse aide, and then I went on to LPN school and followed with an RN school.
Okay, and so now you're an RN?
Yes, I am.
Spectacular. Did your work as a pediatric nurse prepare you for the special needs that your daughter Madeline would have?
Yes, it did in a way, but it's totally different when it's your own child. I had all this book knowledge, but when it's your child and you see her laying there, it's totally different. All that goes by the wayside, and it's all about your child. Mm-hmm. All about my child.
Mm-hmm. What precipitated Madeline's preterm birth?
I was 34 weeks pregnant when I started having trouble with my blood pressure. I then went to a specialist peri-neonatologist in Florence and saw him, and on a Thursday, and the following weekend I began having contractions. I had a condition called preeclampsia, which put me at risk for having seizures, and it put myself at risk as well as Madeline. She was small. By ultrasound at 34 weeks, she was at a 29-week status, gestational status.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor, Dr. Caroline Heimberger, and the pediatrician here, Dr. Mark Bahan, felt that it was best for Madeline's interest and mine to go ahead and deliver her. I had her here at Marion County Medical Center, and she weighed 3 pounds and 6 ounces. They felt that it was best because the blood supply was being cut off to her as well as to my major organs.
So you said 3 pounds, 6 ounces? 6 ounces. Son of a gun. Yeah, and what would, for the normal birth weights, for folks who aren't familiar with birthing and normal weights of children, weights could range from?
They vary. Usually over 4 pounds is a baby that can survive on its own, but all babies, even larger babies at 10 pounds, have troubles.
Mm-hmm.
As with feedings, or have trouble sucking, or even having trouble with their intestinal problems or kidneys or just major organs.
Right. What are some of the ways the March of Dimes research helped Madeline? I mean, when you can...
When Madeline was born here at Marion County Medical Center, she immediately received surfactant, which was developed by March of Dimes funding. It was given to her to develop her lungs faster, which she had complications breathing just immediately after birth. They gave that medication to her, and it helped develop her lungs so she wouldn't have hopefully wouldn't have any trouble later on.
And some of the aspects when we think about, obviously you talked about the weight, 3 pounds 6 ounces. How Madeline would differ from another child? What would be some of the primary differences at birth?
With her low birth weight, she had obviously trouble eating. She couldn't suck because it took a lot of energy so they conserved her energy as much as possible by only giving her just a small amount of feeding, just drops to start off with, and then increased it along. She was on the ventilator for about 12 hours after birth, and she was able to come off it later the night after she was born. She came off the ventilator, but normal children are able to bond with their parents immediately after birth, where she was not.
Obviously, Madeline looks beautiful. How's she doing now?
She's doing great. She's 14 months old, and she weighs about 25 pounds.
Yeah, she looks it.
She's at average on her growth chart, and
right.
She's a little short, but she comes by that honestly from her mother. However, she's doing exceptionally well.
That is amazing. What did you think about when you were asked to let Madeline participate as the 2003 ambassador baby?
I was very excited because we had a great turnout. We had a wonderful experience, even though it was a bad time in our life, because every couple expects to have a normal delivery and a healthy baby. But I was excited to tell our story because just for the simple fact that other folks who have smaller babies are able to sympathize with us and able to help them get along through their path.
Absolutely. So you have been a comfort to other new parents going through some of the similar.
Yes. Recently, we had a couple in our neighborhood that had a small baby. She weighed 2 pounds and 11 ounces. She was born at 29 weeks gestation. And I've been able to talk with the family and show them Madeline and let them know that that their baby has a good chance of coming out normal.
Has Madeline had a lot of recognition by the community? I mean, there's sure been a lot of events leading up to this Saturday's walk.
Yes, we had the kickoff on August 19th, and here at the hospital, and she was the guest of honor there. And we also had a gospel singing the week before on August the 10th, and she was the guest of honor there. We had several events that she's been part of.
And now she just had her first birthday in August.
On August 19th on the kickoff, and they had a birthday party for her here at the kickoff. Had cake and ice cream and balloons, and they had gifts donated from different businesses in the area.
I'm sure, all over. Golly, that would have been a huge birthday.
Oh, yes.
That would have been a huge birthday. Do you think Madeline has some idea of the impact, the experience that ties into to what all's happening right now?
Not.
Yeah, she's doing some good walking there. That's fantastic. Oh my God, Madeline, you're a beauty. She is a beauty. Of course, she's just 3 weeks older than my daughter, Emma Claire, and of course they look a lot alike. It's amazing. Yeah, she'll be talking to it soon too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she's ready for the party. And this Saturday, does she know what's going to be happening out here? We're kicking off right behind us here.
No, she don't know what's going on exactly because she's a little young, but
yeah.
She will. I'm sure she'll fit right in, and she'll have no problem fitting in.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
She's always the life of the party.
Oh, yeah, Madeline, you are a beauty, and it's so exciting to see you and your dad out here. Oh, yeah. Your dad, oh, golly, she's walking so well now. That's amazing. When did she start walking?
She started walking on September 11th this past year. She was a little over a year old. And she started walking that day, and she's been walking ever since.
Golly, that is fantastic.
Be prepared. Emma Claire's going to start soon.
I know. Well, she's gliding now from piece of furniture to furniture, and she gets on this ottoman that rolls across, and she'll follow it like a walker. It's amazing to watch her, but she's not. Maybe by that's right. Maybe today she is walking. You just don't know. How will you participate in the Walk America with Madeline this Saturday?
Well, we'll lead off the walk. She'll be, of course, the guest of honor because she's the ambassador child for Marion County, and we'll lead the walk for the 3 miles.
Mm-hmm. And Michael's, the two of y'all have been doing well with this. This is a big deal. This is a lot of attention on the two of y'all as parents, obviously on your daughter. Have there been anything that you've been fearful about as it related to really allowing your daughter to be out in the open?
No, not necessarily. We're very proud of her and very proud of what's happening in our life, and we're just excited to tell everybody about it.
Very definitely. Surely for some of the parents that are going through similar things, or parents whose children are born with birth defects of any number of ranges, it's so important to be able to stretch out to them and let them know. Lastly, Beth, if you had one message to give to the community about supporting the March of Dimes, what do you think it would be?
About 2 years ago, I knew very little about March of Dimes. However, now I've learned a lot. I'm gladly taking part in it because I didn't know, if I'd have known 2 years ago what I know now, I'd gladly supported them. And now I'm glad that I'm taking part because you never know what could come of your pregnancy, or maybe a friend or a loved one, what might happen with their baby.
You heard her say it. You never know what might happen with your child, with your grandchild, with a niece or a nephew. Michael and Beth went through so much, obviously, with the expectation of having a child, and now the recognition that Madeline's done so much to make this community stronger. Beth, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Stay tuned to Angela Rogers coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Marion County Medical Center. We're focused on this Saturday's March of Dimes Marion County Walk America, and we're visiting with Angela Rogers, a health educator with the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for getting in this morning. To think we're now 3 days away from the walk. Huge crowd will be out here this Saturday. A lot going on at registration at 9. The walk kicks off at 10. And, of course, you coming in to follow Beth and to see her and Madeline, and so much excitement wrapping around Madeline Hucks this year.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. We've got a team at Marion County Health Department, and we're excited about this Saturday, too.
Absolutely. And y'all's offices are very close to the hospital here. I think we passed it early this morning, coming in off of 501 on to 76.
Yes, it's probably less than a mile from here.
Golly. You're talking about walks. You could virtually walk here. Angela, are you originally from the area?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised in Marion County. Been here all my life.
You still have family with you here in the area?
Yes. All my immediate family, my mother and brothers, are all here.
Great. Yes. Where did you attend school and what did you major?
I went to Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I majored in psychology.
What carried you out to Oklahoma growing up in Marion County?
I just like the philosophy of the school as far as being a whole person, spirit, soul, and body, and so that's where I went, and I had a really good, well-rounded education.
How exciting. Oral Roberts University, that is do you mind me asking, that's a Christ-based university?
Right, it is.
How exciting. How exciting. What had you been doing prior to joining the Department of Health and Environmental Control?
I was with DSS and Garden and Lighting Program for 9 years between those two jobs before I became a health educator with DHEC. And I worked mainly with children and their families in a lot of different respects. The last part of DSS was working with foster children. Okay,
and if someone was to ask you how you came to your position as a health educator with DHEC, how would it be because you got some good training while you were at DSS?
Right, working with the families all those years, I did a fair amount of education on an individual basis with the families, so that's how I became a health educator with DHEC. And I thought it would be a good chance to work with these families before those babies were brought into the world, to give them some education, some preventive education. Absolutely. And what do you think prompted your interest in working with young mothers and their babies? Well, with my experience with working with families, I've seen a lot of issues that have come up with families, and I just have always had a concern about the family and wanting children to be healthy, to be nurtured, and I felt like, starting to work with those parents in the prenatal period before that baby's born, we could make an impact so when that baby's brought into the world, they're ready, they're already practicing healthy behaviors.
Absolutely. Angela, share with the viewers a little bit about your position as a health educator. What kind of programs do you offer, and who attends these programs?
One of our main programs that I work with is a prenatal education program called Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies. We started this in 1999. We've been doing classes longer than that, but this particular program we started, and it was mainly because of March of Dimes funding that we were able to get this program off the ground.
Wow.
And we are working with pregnant women and providing them education on taking care of themselves and their babies after they come into the world.
That's wonderful. And this is the Department of Health and Environmental Control.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that folks don't think of, the impact that DHEC has on communities. Now, DHEC's also involved in checking out restaurants, making sure they're clean and the sanitation levels are high. What are some of the other things that DHEC are involved in?
DHEC is involved in almost every aspect of your life. Like you said, inspecting restaurants. We have clinics where we're trying to give immunizations to children, and we're helping as far as family planning and preventing STDs or treating STDs. We're also helping with children with handicaps. We have a BabyNet program where we're helping to get the resources that those families need. We have social workers that help with a lot of different family issues. So, and when somebody is trying to build a house on the property, we have somebody that goes and inspects that, for the septic tank and things like that. So we're in a lot of different areas, the environmental setting and in the health setting.
What regions are in your service area, Angela?
The program that we have as far as our prenatal program, we are in 5 counties: Marion County, Florence County, Darlington, Marlboro, Dillon.
Okay. And how about approximately how many women participate in your programs each year?
In Marion County, we had about 152 women that came through our program, and district-wide, as far as all 5 counties put together, it was a little over 550.
Isn't that right? Golly, so out of the 5 counties, around a third were coming out, almost a third were coming out of Marion County.
Right. With some of our counties, this past year was the very first startup year because we've added each year that we've done the program, so they were just introducing it to their area.
Angela, why do you think it's important for the community to support the efforts of the March of Dimes?
The March of Dimes puts a lot of money into education and research. We have a high infant mortality rate in South Carolina and in our PD area, and also a high preterm rate. And we just have too many babies that are being born premature, and that's one of the focuses of March of Dimes this year. And it's a very complicated issue, and that we just need to find some answers and how we can cut down that rate.
I think the national average for preterm births is around 1 in 10. Would Marion County be different than that?
Right. As far as the Marion County statistics, I'm not real sure what it is currently. I know within our program to me, it seemed rather high. There was about 14% of the women that came through our program that had preterm births.
Right.
So we were very concerned about that because many of those women, they had come to a fair amount of classes, and we felt like they were responding to the signs of preterm labor, but sometimes it just can't be stopped, and those babies do come into the world early. So that's something that March of Dimes is wanting to research, all the dynamics of preterm birth to see what we can do to cut down those numbers.
And this was 14% of the 152 women that were coming through your program in Marion County.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
When you were growing up, Angela, do you have any idea, can you try to imagine what it was like as it relates to programs like this? Were there programs like this in place when you were growing up here in Marion County? And if not, did you think there were programs like this that needed to be in place?
I think the program is very much needed and has been needed. There have been some women that have come through the program that have, well, especially women coming with their daughters that would say, well, nothing was like this when I had my children. I know when I had my own children, there was not a prenatal education program. There was someone that provided a few childbirth classes, but not classes about prenatal health. So this is something that we really started, I think in 1994, we started the classes on prenatal health with the Marion County Health Department, and that was new to DHEC, at least in our area, in our district.
What's the prime thing if women, either mothers and their daughters or women in general, started the program? What would be the most important aspect of it that you'd want them to leave the program knowing?
What we really want them to learn is we want them to improve their health practices, and they're learning a lot of information, but because we do want them to put that into practice to make a difference. We're trying to teach women that there are consequences to their behavior, so we want them to practice healthy practices so that they'll have a healthy baby, and also to know when they're having danger signs and when they're having labor signs, so they will get to the hospital quick enough, because sometimes there are cases where women don't recognize danger signs and they wait too long to get to the hospital. And we're hoping all of this will help to reduce our infant mortality rate and preterm rate.
Absolutely. Obviously, we talked about why the community needs to support the efforts of the March of Dimes. How does the March of Dimes impact on your programs?
The March of Dimes has provided funds for us for our program for 3 grant years, and it has helped us to get educational materials, videos and things like that we use for instruction. And also they have provided incentives, which does help women as far as coming to classes. There are things that they need for that baby, things like car seats. And of course we teach them how to use those car seats and have them practice that skill.
Right.
And these incentives have made a difference in our attendance, so that's something that we want to continue.
Now, what is it about car seats? I mean, what's so difficult about using a car? I mean, how can someone not use a car seat correctly? I mean, and I know this obviously as a father now, and the difficulty of using seats, but for a viewer who may not be familiar with that, what are the steps there?
I get that question sometimes when somebody hasn't used a car seat very often, but car seats are different, cars are different, and I do find that most women, they do not put the seat belts tight enough around the car seats, or they don't put the harness straps snug enough around the child. And especially as the children get older, sometimes they don't use the car seat, period.
Right.
And, they really put their children at a high risk for being killed or seriously injured in a car wreck. So that's one reason that we do want to keep up with the program and make sure they are taking care of those children with the car seat.
Well, I know I have a lot of issues sometimes when I'm sending the seat belt back through the back of the seat, and then obviously having her strapped in, want to make sure it's not too tight. She doesn't want it tight. I mean, those are issues, and of course loosening it at certain levels, making sure it's hooked in up at the back. I mean, it's amazing to think all the machinations that have to happen as you're thinking about a child's welfare.
Right.
And that's great that the Department of Health and Environmental Control is actually really stepping in to help, and the March of Dimes are helping fund that.
That's right.
That is wonderful, Angela. Some of the other topics that are covered in the class for pregnant women would be...
Well, we cover nutrition so they know how to eat well, and we talk about prenatal care, the importance of starting prenatal care with your doctor early within that first 12 weeks, keeping those appointments, keeping regular appointments. We talk about infant development so they know their children are on track and things they can do as a parent to help that development, danger signs, childbirth preparation, things like that.
Angela, what's the main purpose of the Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies program? And that's not the same program, is it?
Yes, that's the program that our prenatal education program. Our mission is to improve the health practices of pregnant women and their response to danger and labor signs.
So when, for instance, Joe Fisher talks about every baby counts and saving babies together, the Department of Health and Environmental Control is working hard just to make sure that some of the basic tenets of the March of Dimes are explained in a little more in a very pragmatic format.
Right. that's the education is just one piece that we're helping with as an agency, but that's something I think is very practical.
Are you familiar with Marion County's ambassador baby for this year's walk, Madeline Hucks?
I am. I actually work with her grandmother, so we're very
right?
familiar. We remember that day she was born.
Oh yeah, August 19th
Yes.
of 2002. What aspect of what you do daily has the greatest impact on your life, Angela?
What I enjoy the most about this job, I think, is making a difference in these mothers and these babies, a positive difference, because that's what we're trying to do. If these mothers, start practicing health in a way that's going to help their health and the baby's health, and they're also going to appreciate their children, take care of them, keep them safe, that's going to make a big difference. And if I've helped with that, I've helped my community.
Absolutely. And helping the community is exactly what this Saturday's Marion County March of Dimes Walk America is all about. Helping those mothers obviously sets the stage to really help that child and the children of the future, not only of Marion County, but of America. Angela, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
And of the world. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Beth Hucks, the mother of Madeline, the 2003 Marion Ambassador baby, and Angela Rogers from the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control for making today's Carolina People so special.